Hey. I'm trying to see if y'all can see me. This is my first time doing this. Here I go. Yeah. I'm trying to see if y'all can see me. This is my first time doing it. Okay. Yay. I feel accomplished. I have done something. Okay. I ain't used to these. Whatever. Hey guys, I'm gonna have a special guest. I'm hopping on in a few minutes. Her name is Naomi Boyd, but I first just want to thank you guys for tuning in and for listening. Today's topic will be about colorism, classism, and elitism. It's funny because today's topic was actually supposed to be about intersectionality, and see what had happened was, yeah. So what happened instead was I read a post on Facebook that was addressing elitism and classism. And I feel like they go hand in hand with colorism because, especially if you're a woman, you're not allowed to marry certain classes unless you are either rich or you are a certain color requirement. So I feel like in our fight for civil rights, which we are really fighting for civil rights right now. It's important to remember that until we do our homework, that some of this fighting is literally in vain. Because if I can't be seen as a person unless I'm a certain color or among a certain class or fit in with a certain crowd or talk a certain way, my job and my vernacular should not determine how you treat me. And oftentimes that's what we find, that people's jobs and the way they talk and the way the dreadlocks being tatted up, classism is real and it supersedes any race or skin tone. But when you add all those things together on top of being a Black woman, and we can go into intersectionality a little bit right here because that's when it becomes problematic. My intersectionality as a Black woman, we're going to have a whole discussion about this in the future, is one, I'm a woman. Second, I'm a Black woman. Intersectionality. Third, I'm a dark-skinned Black woman. Fourth, I'm a dark-skinned, heavy-set Black woman. So I got a lot of intersectionality going on. And sometimes people who don't have these hurdles to overcome, it's annoying to hear them us constantly complain about any of them. But everybody has problems. And that's one thing, because a lot of people say, well, everybody has problems. But unless you're a person of color, a lot of times your problem is not predicated solely on your race. Unless you're a woman, some problems women have is predicated solely because they're a woman. From menstrual cramps to getting overlooked at work, overlooked, Freudian slip, because so many of us don't have the mindset of looking beyond our personal sphere. And so, I'm learning so much. I'm in San Antonio right now, and we have a majority Latino Hispanic community, and I'm gonna do another whole live about that. And I'm gonna really be truthful about some things that I learned about myself when I first moved here. It was a learning experience for me because it made me look at people who I didn't really have any association with when I was back in Montgomery. And I was literally thrust in the middle of them. But like I said, that's a whole different conversation. But we're going to have it. And because I feel like a lot of times when we point, I feel like every Black person needs to be just thrust into another group of marginalized people, whether it's another community of people of color or the LGBT community or the I don't want to say what I want to say, but we need to be thrust into another marginalized community, because sometimes I gotta be careful when I say this. We can feel like we're the only ones being victimized, and everything should be revolved around Black people. And I get why, because so many of the struggles and the privileges that a lot of people have now comes from the pain and the blood and the sweat and the tears of our ancestors. And it's like they use us. Like when I was in Montgomery and I was working with the Chamber of Commerce, they had a small business minority grant, and they had a lot of programs for the grant. And they said the number one user of those programs were white women. And so I get it. I get sometimes you're being frustrated, because it's like people move up because of our sweat, blood, and tears. It's generational wealth because you didn't have to pay for labor for centuries. So start with the pull yourself up by your bootstrap philosophy. Y'all burned several cities of wealthy Black people to the ground, raped, pillaged, tore communities upside down, killed everybody because they weren't doing well. Like, kill young boys for whistling at white women. So it's a little bit more than just we came to America and we made it, and I'm so glad, and I have to say this carefully, that what's going on now, a lot of other people of color can see that it wasn't just Black people they hated. Like, they accepted you because you was a little lighter. That's that colorism going on. But at the end of the day, they wanted the country back from us all. So, yeah. I'm waiting for Naomi to jump on. I don't want to jump into... I'm so sorry. But let me know who is on here. I see one person. Who are you? So I want to know who I'm talking to, because I'm trying to wait for Naomi to jump on. So who am I talking to? Wow, maybe you're typing in or whatever. I want to thank everybody for supporting season 3 of My Big Bad Life. I did another live where I told all the tea. So if you can't check that out, please do. And I just want to give a shout out to everybody who is supporting me, all my Patreon members. Like, y'all don't even understand. And the people who join after my live, I got something special coming out, but I'm trying to figure it out, because I'm trying to get my money right, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to give y'all at the same time. And because I'm like, if I just give something now, it's just going to be a token. And I really want it to mean something. So, hey, Rochelle. That's my friend. She has a blog on YouTube called, man, I know this. My friends just, Naomi's about to come on. Is it Musings of a Butterfly? I want to say. I follow her on YouTube, so I'm just going to look it up. She got said. I'm going to go on her page because it's on Facebook too. Yep. Rochelle. I'm going to find this today. Mind relatable. What? I'm all the way wrong on this. Girl. Mind of a Ladybug. Follow her on YouTube. Follow her blog. She's awesome and very supportive. I love her so much. Hey, Naomi. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey, girl.
Thank you.
I've already talked a little bit about why I'm doing this video. Introduce yourself and kind of, introduce your take on the topic of leadership, colorism, and classism.
Okay, so I'm Naomi Boyd, Naomi Agape Boyd, Agape Love Boyd on Facebook, as you can see on the thing. And so my take on it is like I was telling you over the phone. I have a friend. Hold on, let me get my charger. I forgot.
Well, she's the charger. Naomi is a singer. She's a massage therapist, and she is also recently she's created these stuff for your skincare specialist. And I ordered some, and I have not been I showed it when I opened the box, I think, but I'm gonna start using it because it's still in the box, and my skin
self-care. Your self-care package.
My self-care package, and I am like, I'm cheap, y'all, because I'm not working. Like, I need my toes done, and it's like a drill that I can get for my toes. And I'm gonna show you. Y'all see this? Y'all see this? You is married. Stop asking me how I'm doing. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm tired. I keep ignoring you. Like, I'm literally, if I open it right now, I'm not going to do it because he'll see that I'm looking at it. It's all him. All him. All him. When you going to give up? I didn't know you were married. I was just ignoring you because you have a nerve. And then for your anniversary, did a long post about you and your wife.
And they do that. And you know what I'm saying? You know me, I'm polyamorous, however, ethically though. You know what I mean?
It's different. It's like a difference between a man being bisexual and a man being on the down low. One is ethical, he likes both of them. Another one, you're lying. And you pay people's feelings and emotions, that's two different things. Like that is different.
Yeah.
Like who you like, love who you love, do it how you want it, but let it be ethical. Like people was talking about huh?
Is my TV loud? It is, okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good. I just thought about it. Hold on.
I'm trying to find it because I got so many do not answers.
All right.
I'm trying to find, but like if I could just pull it up and I might just put it in the group and y'all just laugh because y'all already know I'm not y'all. When I like it, I like it. When I don't, I don't. But I like them before he was married. He got married. Like when I'm somebody who that's something I have to be very careful because I like you. I like you a lot. But when I stop liking you, but anyway, back to you.
Okay, I be forgetting to self-promote, but I am a singer-songwriter. I have a single out on SoundCloud only for now, called You. And I also have a music video for that song on YouTube called You. And then like if when you type in you don't really see it for real, type in Agape Music, and you'll see me with with my locks or whatever, and brown skin or whatever, But and then I'm also a massage therapist with my own service called Kairos Massage, and with that, I also have care packages where I put together a body scrub, a affirmation card, candle, herbal tea, and oh yeah, and the pink Himalayan body, not body, but bath salts that you soak in. So just like a little self-care, zen, like just take care of yourself type of package. So yeah.
If Naomi is the person who God has sent me to challenge a lot of the things that I believe. Oh dear. And I love her for that. A lot of times, like some things I still believe, some things I live down. I mean, I don't do it, but some things I'm trying to change her mind. So that aside, it's a lot of times where she's saying something, even I don't fully go onto her side of the spectrum. I either empathize with a little bit more or I understand it. Or I creep a little bit closer because I'm like, that's kind of right. So Naomi is somebody I always call to check what I'm saying against, not so that you agree with it or even quote unquote accept it, but so that I can kind of understand an opposite person. That makes sense. Like somebody who doesn't necessarily always agree, because we do agree a lot of times, but she doesn't. She's not afraid to give me a different opinion from because a lot of my friends, we're more on the traditional side. She's more on the probably on path side. Both are, as long as you don't judge me, I'll judge you.
Yeah.
Oh, Rochelle said she needs to look up air packages, so I'm gonna give you the information.
Okay.
But yeah, back to you. Tell the story that you told me earlier. I'm trying to make her see without the light I look gray. I want my brown skin.
To me, you don't look gray.
Okay. I just feel like I look I just want my skin to pop. I'm a black girl.
Is Granddaddy's door open?
Is Granddaddy's door open?
Yes, it is.
I'm not on right now, so I can say what I want to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm gonna mute myself.
I know I'm just talking right now. I'm gonna be Naomi's stepmom one day. My dad, I said, "What's up?" Tell Zaddy, I said, "What's up?" They start playing these games. It's not in the inbox. Tell Zaddy, I said, "What's up?" She playing games. And Rochelle, I'm gonna get back with you with the cups. I'm just trying to figure out what I want. Do you do t-shirts? Because that's what I really want, a t-shirt. But anyway, back to you, Naomi.
I cannot, but yeah. Anyway. I did not with you, but okay. So I have a friend named Sebastian Cole. He is a Grammy-winning songwriter, right? So he's he got money, you know what I'm saying? And so he was in town in Birmingham. He was in town for the opening of his restaurant, Michael's, and so he was visiting a friend, and he told us this on live or whatever. So he was visiting a friend, and in that neighborhood, I guess it's a nice neighborhood, and a black man, he got lost, okay, and a black man with his white counterpart was jogging, and he stopped and asked them, hey, so where's this house? I'm lost. And so the dude told him what the house was, and then told him, don't visit this neighborhood too often because you'll drive down the property value. And I was just like, oh my God, like for real? Like real? Like that just rolled off your tongue? Like so
Because he didn't know who he was. He thought he was just a nigga, maybe delivering some Uber Eats, some DoorDash, some visiting one of his rich friends.
Right.
He didn't know who he was.
Right.
And that's the problem.
It's crazy. And so basically they just saw well, not they, because I'm not even gonna bring the white lady in it because she didn't say that. But it was a black guy. So, so he just saw a dark-skinned big guy in a Toyota in that neighborhood and just was just like, don't visit here too often. You're going to drive down the property value. And so that just, kind of made me think about just the elitist mindset, the classist mindset. And we have elitists and classes who are advocates. I was about to do the air quotes, but I'm not gonna, downplay their advocacy. Whatever. I'll let them have it. I'll let them have it. Power to the people. So you do have advocates who are classists and elitists, right? So my mindset is, and I made a status about it, and I was just, posing the question of how effective is their advocacy if they are elitists and classes? Because at a certain point of their advocacy, their classism is going to kick in, and they're going to leave like the causes for the civil rights movements alone, and they're not going to advocate for those causes, or their main focus and drive would be to get a seat at the table when the table is actually the problem. The table is set too high, for everyone to afford a seat anyway. You know what I'm saying? Having a seat at the table is really a elitist, classist, even slogan. You know what I mean? So the table is the representation of prestige. So if that is your solution, you think, for everyone, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be a solution for everyone, first of all, because like I said, the table is set way too high and everybody can't afford a seat at that table. So how really effective is your advocacy at that point? You know what I mean? And even, and I don't want people to think that when I say elitist or classes that I'm talking about richness, somebody being rich or wealthy, because classism and elitism is mostly a mentality. It really doesn't have anything to, it's not linked. Well, it is linked by a byproduct, you know what I mean? Because classist people, elitist people, they see money as their buy-in to those types of plateaus, and those types of circles. So richness and wealth are, to me, byproducts of, so it's not, so I'm not saying that rich people are automatically elitist or well, rich Black people are automatically elitist or classist. No, like, it's a mentality. So yeah.
I totally agree with you. Two people jumped into my thought process when you were talking. I think about when you were saying that class is the byproduct of. Ooh, hold on. I gotta take this, y'all. Hold on.
Okay.
Can y'all hear me? Hello?
So hey y'all, I don't know.
That was something important. I was like, that was something very important. I had to answer the phone for it. But legally. But say, two people jumped in my mind when we were talking, and that's Regine for living legal. because she was not rich, but she had a very classist and elitist mentality.
Yeah.
And also, it was a guy accused of stealing a belt years ago from Bernie's, and it was a black guy, professional football player, basically. He was either a football player or a baseball player, and he basically was of the mindset just because you can afford to go to the store and buy something doesn't mean that basically you belong to the store. What's that feedback? Does that mean we didn't have it? We didn't have it before, but and it was just like, really, you really and truly would tell somebody that can afford to shop at the store, and just because they weren't on a certain level, that the person was right in getting arrested because they weren't, in your eyes, classy or on a certain level, and could shop there without being harassed or arrested. Like, that was crazy to me, and it's so real. And I feel like a lot of black men, especially those who date others specifically and exclusively, they only want to, what's it say? They only want to fight civil rights to get their freedom to marry who they want to. They want to be able to walk down the streets and not be harassed or not be looked at funny for marrying who they're married to. But they have no desire for real change within the black community, or for, like, it was a black guy with his white wife who thought, I have arrived, and he saw another black person and immediately wanted to put the nigga back in his place. And I feel like that happens a lot, especially with black men when they marry other people, because they feel like their proximity to whiteness or their ability to buy in to the white establishment makes them less black or not as black or less threatening black. But in general, Rochelle is preaching in these comments. She said it's almost like riches and wealth are misunderstood. Blacks sometimes tend to think that rich means they've arrived, while whites think that wealth means they've arrived. Like Chris Rock said before, rich is temporary, wealth is generational. And I totally agree, because even now we see that when the corona hit, it was millionaires like, yeah, y'all got to go back to work. Like, y'all got to make our money. A lot of stuff is people rich on paper, but they broke in real life. And I feel like, they have the land, the acquisitions, the assets, but they have to liquidate them before they get money. Like, everything is on paper. Everything is like a pyramid scheme. And as soon as the bottom tier stopped working to amass their wealth, it was like, whoa, we are the only country who did not shut down everything all at once, because we did not want to shut down the economy. And even when we did the South shutdown, they still were mad that we couldn't get a shorter shutdown. They wanted everything to open back up because it was all about money. And I feel like with no real leadership in place, yeah, I said it, that's why America, we are still under lockdown and getting worse 6 months later, because nobody stood up and was like, yo, bro, stop charging people rent, stop charging people mortgage, stop charging people for utilities. The next few months are on us. I don't know if it was selfishness or greed, or they just were not in a financial position to do it. But we'll never know. But that's what should have been done. So what are your thoughts?
Oh, I totally agree. Honestly, I literally was just talking to a friend about that. Like, I don't understand why they haven't put anything in place saying that, mandating that, companies or whatever can't, charge rent or insurance and things of that nature. Because who, like, not saying who has the money, but a lot of us don't have the money to continue to pay these things. It's a struggle. For me, it's a struggle to pay these things. And I'm risking, putting myself in jeopardy to work as a massage therapist to make sure that I, put food on the table and have, a roof over our heads. And then, I have help, but still, like, I'm risking my livelihood, not just my livelihood, but my life, just for my livelihood, to take care of me and my kids. Like, it's crazy. I don't understand why. I don't understand. I mean, because everybody's job can't transfer to remote. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have the care packages, but that's not gonna. It helps, but
That's why I'm so thankful for everybody who is a Patreon member, because without y'all, like, y'all are literally paying my bills right now. And I thank you. I think that's not a humble brag or a brag at all. That's a reality. Without you guys, I would have nothing coming in. And that's why I value you guys' opinions, your thought process, because you are helping to save a life right now. And I just feel like, do not take it. I don't take it lightly, because, like Naomi was saying, I don't think a lot of people realize that essential workers are actual people, and that's where classism and elitism come in too. Because I saw something on the advertisement the other day, or a tweet the other day, and it was a company that was saying, because a lot of people don't want to wear masks, we should institute, like, maybe an hour before the stores open, where if you don't want to wear a mask, you can come in and don't have to wear a mask. But what about the people who work there? Like, so they don't count. And that's where elitism and classism come in, because you're worried about people shopping in your store, but not the people working in your store. So it's a problem. And also, did you see that I think it was a post, it was a screenshot, it was going viral on Facebook the other day, where a nail tech, she had protocols in place to let people know, her immune system was compromised. So if they had COVID or had traces of it, or was on quarantine, anything, let her know, because her immune system was already compromised. So she was really, just to make sure that she was following our protocol and to, protect herself and her other customers. This lady came in, got her nails done, and then sent her text on some. I'm so sorry, but I tested positive for COVID a couple of days ago, but I wanted to, just had to get my nails done. You saw how bad they were. And then she went on to say, she was like, I told you, I asked you specifically. She was like, I just had to get out the house. So first of all, which one was it? Was your nails needed to be done, or you need to leave the house? Was it both? You really compromised other people's, like, somebody might die because you had to get your nails done and had to get out the house. People are so innately selfish, especially in America. And I feel like that's what is going on right now. Alongside classism and elitism is individualism. Like, everybody wants to do what benefits them. And we have no concern or regard for anybody else. That's why I remember one time we were having a conversation, and I'm still up in the air of this, and we can talk about it because you on here. I don't know, I'm gonna get you on here again. We were talking about, it was a situation on the show where it was a woman who was dating her best friend's ex, and me and Naomi, we sat on the different sides of that. And now I have come. This is what I think now. Everything, because literally right after the end, I literally was faced with a situation where my best friend wanted to date my ex. And I didn't like the way she went about it. And I realized it wasn't a part of it being done behind my back. It was not having the conversation. Well, I should say that's what it was. If it's done, let me be a part of the process. Don't tell me when it's done and be like, you deal with it or not. That's some BS. Like, tell me when it's happening. Tell me when you first line in, so I'll know, okay, this, but don't wait till y'all halfway in love and be like, this is what's going on, take it or leave it. Because to me, that's garbage. So like I said, sometimes with conversation and being put in real life situations, you get to test your ideas and theologies and realize it's not you want your friends to be happy, but not at the cost of you being in pain. Like, I don't want my heart to be broken, because the conversation could have been, I'm not through with him. Like, what really was going on was I still had feelings for him. He had actually been on my mind and my heart. Then to come to find out that this is my best friend. They had been in a relationship for 3 months. And at first I was okay. At first I was like, and then when she kept talking, I said, because everything I do, you throw in my face, you act like I'm not a good person. You just called me trying to tell me everything that was wrong with me because you were covering the fact that you were sleeping with my ex, or you were with my ex. I ain't gonna say they were sleeping together. You were with my ex. And to me, that's not cool. My thing is, if somebody, a situation right now I'm going through, and I don't want to talk about it right now, but it's very complicated. Like, things are very complicated. And I feel like people are like, I'm grown. Well, be all the way grown about it. Handle things the right way. Don't, if somebody got feelings with somebody, somebody kicked it with somebody, and they're your friend, doing stuff behind people's backs, you're going to reap that. You're going to reap that, and the relationship will not prosper. And I just feel like the same thing with classism and elitism and even colorism. I had a good friend, somebody who I really, Rochelle, I'm going to get to you. It's like my light is blocking your comments. So, but I'm going to get to them. I had a good friend who I consider a part of my circle. I just found out the other day she was a colorist. Naomi was there. Naomi was there. And, it shook me. And so many people were like, she's a good person. Don't let one opinion make you think differently. But I'm like, first of all, we telling black people throwing whole friendships, relationships, situationships away because of racism. But when it comes to colorism, it's so innately ingrained within us that we give them a pass. No, I'm going to give my colorist friends the same pass I give my racist friends. You don't get one. Unless you change your mind and ready to come to the table and talk and be real, like I am a colorist, help me, we ain't got nothing to talk about. So anything you want to add right now? And I'm going to read Rochelle's comments.
I'm just going to rewind and go back to the best friend thing. Okay, so in college, I had a really good friend. You know her. But I had a really good friend. She was like a sister. Yeah, you know her.
My friend.
Huh? I don't know if y'all like who
have a best friends in her. I said, were we ever best friends?
I don't know if y'all best friends.
Like, did you ever see us hang out? Was she in my house?
No. So I don't think so. I don't think y'all like. Yeah, I don't think y'all.
You know what I'm talking about.
Y'all, I mean, but y'all cool though. I think, yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, you know her. But it was this dude that she used to deal with. She had an ex. I ended up having sex with the ex, but I didn't know that it was like a real like that. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying, it's just some dude that she used to play around with or whatever. You know what I mean? I didn't know it was like a whole thing. But when she confronted me about it, because I guess he said something, when she confronted me about it, you know what I mean? I told her like, yeah, I did that. I didn't know that it was anything like that. And I didn't do it again. Like, I did it. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I've been that other best friend who has wronged a best friend, not intentionally. However, I did still hurt a best friend. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't condone that whole having a whole relationship and then bringing it up. Like, nah, bruh.
Exactly.
Like
I want my best friend to be happy. I want him to be happy. And I would like if I might even hook him up. That's how it was with me. But the fact that you called me and had an hour conversation telling me that all the stuff I did that was wrong and how stuff we had already talked about, discussed, handled, and had situated like this stuff I had already apologized for. So we had our, it was just guilt. You wanted me to feel bad about myself. And I could tell before she even told me, the Lord was like, she wants
so that whole conversation was leading up to her telling you. I can't.
Like I could tell that she was flustered that I wasn't get on the hook because I was like, we've already talked about this. Where's this coming from? Like, I've apologized. What else? Like, what do you? The thing, it was an argument between her or her roommate and me. Like, what does that have to do with you? Like, and I think I was like, if you and Mary had to fall out, that would not affect me and you. What are you talking about? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, and fair, both of them are best friends, but I could be best friends with both of them and they don't commit. Like, I'm good.
I have plenty of best friends that, you know,
so
one don't think the other.
So I didn't get it, and I could tell she was flustered that I wasn't falling for her crap like usual. Because most times I'm like, quit to apologize. I'm so sorry. What can I do? Because I had talked to her in a long time. She was like, and that's one thing she said. You probably can see that I haven't talked in a long time, and I'm gonna say that was intentional enough. It was both ways. And then she was like, I just that's when she went into the, and I'm like, and at first I was okay because I don't know him. Like that was years ago. Then I thought about bitch. You get Lord. She literally waited till they was 3 months not talking in a relationship. Nah, you gotta be friend. Like, and I said, the way this is making me feel, I can't be friends with you. I gotta go. And I realized after the fact, and they were like, Farrah was, oh, she was living. Everybody was living. Like everybody, even Briggs, everybody wanted to fight her because it was like it wasn't the fact of it being done, it was the way that you do it.
Right.
It's the way that you do it. If you care about somebody and you hear anything come out their mouth saying, I like this person any kind of way, you say, hold up. She just said that she like this, like that. She didn't come like sometimes people don't know what they're feeling. But then when they get in the face with their option being gone, don't take away people's options if you care about them, especially if you're doing it behind their back. This is how you know whether or not something's wrong. If you can't tell a person because it may affect what's going on, that's your barometer. I'm gonna get to Rochelle. Inconsiderate, yes. She said, inconsiderate. Okay, let me go back. The stimulus issue. Oh no, the people that should have been there were let go at the beginning of the current presidency.
What? Say that again.
She said the people should have been like were let go at the beginning of the current presidency because he would bring his stupid. Like he was literally, you my friend. I'm gonna create your position. Even though you had no.
Oh yeah.
We have addressed those people that have been there. We really need to put the Democratic president doing this, like for real. I wouldn't have been okay with it when first being grown as an excuse. It does not, and that's something like I don't like. I had a friend. This is me being transparent. Transparent is I had a friend. I have a friend, and she introduced me to her boyfriend. And me and her looked nothing alike. But I could tell baby boy was ready to get Big J down. Like, he was like, just give me the time, the day, the moment. I could tell he was ready. He was like I could tell, like just and I got the phone, I called her and I was like, I will never be alone with her boyfriend because I could just tell. Immediately after the end, they started having problems. Immediately after then, he started watching the stories. And I'm like, and I'm not gonna lie. For a second, I was like, oh, you heard that Coach Shelby? He kind of fine. Like, she told me he got that good, woo! And I was like, we are that close. First of all, we are that close. And second of all, don't be garbage, Jona. Don't be garbage. And I think to put it down in our face to make y'all laugh, but I'm just saying, you're not immune, like your mind and your eyes are not shut off when it comes to relationship. Yes, your bestie may have somebody that you're very attracted to, that they have partnered with, whatever, exclusively or like polyamorously. But if crossing certain lines, if the line is being honest and open,
Mm-hmm. Right.
first of all, I would have been garbage because they were still together. Still like that's different. But let's say they technically have broken up. They are on a break. But I know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can say when y'all had broken up and he had slid him out, Johnny, you would have been garbage. So I'm saying that just you know the line of defense. And it took a minute. I'm gonna be real. It took a second because I was like, I really, I had really thought about it. But I knew at the end of the day I was not happening. I know Joe. I know I'm not happening. But I'm saying that even when you are faced with a situation, a lot of times people are like, it feels right, or I felt something, or they special, or they made me feel. No, you still have a responsibility to that person who has held you down for years, more so than to your own emotions. And I promise you, if you do it the right way, if you pray about it and do it the right way, they'll be like, "Girl, want me to help you hook up? Like, I want me to put a good word in." But that behind the back,
not everybody. Not everybody. Now I will say that this is just my rule. First of all, I read the room because I know some friends are just not like that. So what I'm saying, if you one of those friends, you let it be known that, hey, this is my boundary. I'm like, okay, that's your boundary. All right, I'm not, but especially if it's a ex that I was your friend and I knew, you know what I mean. But if it's just somebody that I didn't know, I had no idea, and I'm coming to you, hey girl, so I found this guy, and then I give you his name, his picture, or whatever, and you be like, oh, that's my ex. I'd be like, oh, and then I'm gonna ask you how you feel about it. You know what I mean? But so that's just my general rule, just to keep down, any drama or whatever.
And
but some people will still, like, even if you do come up to them and be upfront, be honest and all that, some people use that whole girl code thing as like leverage over their friends out of like envy and spite. Like, and it's that part is not cool. Like, if you know good and well you don't want this dude, and the only thing that you have a problem with is the fact that that's your friend, like, but your friend is happy this dude, you know what I'm saying? And it's not like the dude was a bad guy. It's just that y'all just didn't work out for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And you're just upset because your friend may be happy with the guy that you know what I'm saying, didn't really mesh with for real, in the grand scope of things, that probably wasn't even a dude that you was supposed to be with in the first place. When that's the only reason why I don't know.
I'm gonna because this is my rule of thought. Most times when stuff like that happens, that actually be God's way of tapping you on the shoulder, like that ain't it. He ain't it either. Now sometimes it can be it, but I feel like sometimes when we allow our emotions to override certain things, God will cause friction in your friendship. She might not even care that was your boo, but because God, like, that ain't him, boo, and like you, so He wants it to be like that check, like to double think this. But sometimes you're absolutely right. There are some women out there, no matter how many conversations you have, they could be happily married with kids, and they still don't want you to mess with their exes. I'm not going to. I don't have a heaven hell to put anybody in. I'm not going to judge anybody because, like, literally, when I was telling people, I was telling married women what my best friend did, and one married woman with kids, she told me, like, she literally had to put her friend out of her life because of that. She married with kids, and she had to, like, say deuces to a friend because she was talking to her ex. She was like, I just don't trust her anymore. So I'm not saying that they are spiteful, or some people, that's just their boundary. And I'm not going to judge them because that's their boundary. However, I'm not saying I'm one of those people because I'm not. Like, my thing, if I'm through, the only way I would block it or try to block it is if I still have feelings. Like, if I still have feelings and me and him were talking on it, because you know how men do. Yeah. And you gotta be careful also because a lot of times they only want to talk to you to say F you to the girl who, so it's a
Now,
lot of
I think it's like a ex that you haven't talked to. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all legit.
Like I get what you're saying, but
Out of each other's lives.
I'm not going to judge anybody because some people that's just their boundary, and
Yeah.
just because we don't agree with it, we can't demonize it. However, like if they're intent, like if it's just out of envy and spite, or he ain't gonna never like. But some people they just have like in their mind that's like a breach of trust. Like I told you secrets, I've shared my hurts. Like some people they can't get past that, and I'm not here to demonize them. And some people it's just for spite. Now those people are different, but I still feel like it's a conversation that needs to be had. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
like if it's just envy and spite, you trying to cough block, I'm gonna pray about it and keep it going. But my friend, I don't care how much I like the guy, she literally was like, Jona, I'm married, I got 2 kids, but it would really hurt me because maybe he was her first love, or maybe it was he was a guy that she really wanted it to work out with, and it does something to her to see him being happy with you. And the issue could not have been you at all. It could have been he wasn't mature enough yet, he wasn't grown enough yet. But if it causes my friend to have to seek therapy or to feel a certain way about herself, I can't do it because my friend, not for a guy who may or may not work out with. Now, if he, like, if not like if you're on a fair and own me like level, like you have to be on a certain level. Like I'm not saying just a general friend in passing, but I'm not gonna ever do anything to make you cry or make you doctors or put you in therapy or make you have to make a therapy appointment. So it's not that crucial to me. Men are not that crucial to me. My friendship is because, like I said, it may not make it. It may not work. Then I done lost my friend. So I'm not going to ever be that chick. However, if I feel like it's just because it's her being spiteful or envious or jealous or whatever, I will pray and then proceed. But like I said, it's only a certain level. Like just a general friend in passing, like somebody who ain't really did enough for me in my life, and we hang out, we cool, we do jokes. Yeah, but I can't do anything, because that goes back to the whole racism and colorism thing. That is it just is what it is. Like, but no, it's not. It's just what it is. You can actually do something to not hurt somebody else. And my thing is, like I said, if it's triggering them. Now, I want to be very clear when I say that. Not if it's they just being spiteful. Not if they just being, like you can never have my. But sometimes women, especially, we don't really get the therapy we need, or we have another thing that we don't got time to talk about boyfriend 5 years ago and how his rejection made us truly feel, because that could have been a turning point. Like she could have had all these high lists of demands, and she could have settled for her husband because she's like, well, since he didn't want me, then the guy who I was with, that my best friend, I don't know if they're with or not because she's blocked. Tell to your neighbor and say blocked. He was. And if I start thinking about it, I might get mad all over because she was like, basically the stuff I had told her about our relationship, she was trying to make him not be the bad guy, but trying to make me sound dumb like, oh, you thought you were pregnant before, but y'all had not even really had sex. But yet, when you found a condom underneath my bed because you was staying with me for a while, you asked me what was this, and I told you what happened, and then you like kind of belittled me because I was doing sexual things. So which one is it? Like stuff like that.
That's shady.
We gets real, so y'all beware. We gets real on the Patreon. So stuff like that can be triggering. You know what I'm saying? Like you're to me talking about my ex who was. I literally had just said I thought about him because I was like, he is the person who hurt me the worst. And sometimes it's not love. It's like this person really truly hurt me. And if I talk and real talk, if I talk about my exes, he would not make the list because my love for him was not that significant. But the way he hurt me was. So that's why I'm saying like it's tricky, but
I get that.
I feel like any woman, who loves her friend, they want her to be happy. So
yeah, I get that. See, that's what I was talking about. Like if it was just like y'all broke up because things just didn't work out. I'm not saying he put you through, hell, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
if it's triggering, I get it. You know what I mean? But if this is just someone that y'all used to date and things just didn't work out,
That's
just,
different.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's different. Like, I feel like, especially if you're married, those type of relationships, like, you ain't got no claim on that no more. Like, you're
The
married.
marriage distinguishes all. Now that's where me and you really agree. To me, marriage extinguishes all claims. Like sometimes when I like a guy and I know my friend like a guy, I'm like, Lord, please send her husband right now in Jesus' name, or at least a really good relationship. Because I feel like marriage extinguishes all claims. Like, no.
I'm talking about, just very neutral breakups, not traumatic, experiences. Because some relationships are traumatic, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like just regular, healthy breakups. Like, but if it's a relationship where it was triggering, it's like you poured all your all, and you know what I'm saying, you know how people dudes be,
Because next time you got to go out relationships in bed because of you. Huh? What you said?
Stay away from that kind of relationship. Like, nah.
My thing, how can you be my friend but be with somebody who caused me pain? To me, it's like you complicit to my pain.
Yeah.
And you're instead of getting him to apologize, you're trying to come to me and act like it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, and then on top of that, even if the person was like, you know what, I'm gonna risk it and go, like, don't deal back in our stuff. Like, that's our stuff that we dealt with. Like, don't come to me with that. Like, y'all have y'all relationship. You know what I'm saying? Work on that. Don't come to me about our past stuff. Like,
don't do that. And it was just like the way it was done. And I feel like I saw a lot of jump. What you said?
I'll probably hit you in the face for that. Like, don't do that.
So many people told me she was jealous of me, and I saw it. Like, it was one incident where I literally saw like jealousy, like so many times, and I feel like that was her way of getting back at me, because I can't do what you do, but I can make this guy who didn't want me, basically, y'all in on bad terms. If it made her feel good about herself, I believe. I feel like it was a lot of work there. And I'm like, for it to have gone on for 3 months before I get a call, no, we good. We good, love, enjoy. So yeah.
But it was
me on his page. I don't know if they're together now, but he still say single. So
amazing. But and then to go to we had went to that tangent, and I lost what the other parts you said. But anyways, back to the colorism and stuff like that, because I want to definitely say this. It also stems from respectability politics. You have to look a certain way. Honestly, respectability politics actually give leeway to a lot of isms in the world. For example, Rosa Parks, right? Literally the only reason why she was the mother of the civil rights movement is because she had the status, she had the look, she had the status, she, was respected in her community, highly for it. And so this was the trope. This was the one to rally behind, not to diminish who she is, however, that was the reason, because there were plenty of women younger than her who did that, who stood up against that system, but because they were either had children out of wedlock or had a child out of wedlock, didn't look the right part or whatever, the respectability politics said that they weren't valid enough, they weren't worthy enough to rally behind. So, it leaves a lot of us slipping through the cracks of a lot of these, yeah, civil rights movements, you know, it leaves a lot of people slip through the cracks and not fought for, not and voices being silenced, taken away because they don't fit the profile that you want or see that a leader should have or whatever. And it actually gives room for other people outside of our community to treat the rest of us differently because, like you say, we don't look a certain way. So the Black community is not going to be behind us. So, you know, pick on the least of us. You know what I'm saying? Pick on the least of us because they're not going to say anything anyway.
And that's a perfect way to end, because that's how it all ties in together. We teach people how to treat us. We teach people what we value in our community. And if every time they look up a Black man is dating a white woman, Hispanic woman, Asian woman, a real high yellow Black one, you tell them that the little dark-skinned girl at the store is worthless. You tell them that the little dark-skinned girl in the mall who is their waiter, who is their cashier, is not as valuable as her light-skinned counterparts. And so you cannot get mad when a white man spits in that girl's face because you spit in our face every day, figuratively. And so my whole thing is we have to get beyond where we treat people, like you said, respectability politics, when they meet a certain standard or they're on a certain level, they look a certain type of way. You know, they have the money, they live in a certain neighborhood, like if they talk in a certain vernacular, like all these things like are check-off lists that we use to diminish people and to keep people from making themselves great. And the reason why it's so not just triggering, but the reason why it's so toxic is because our white counterparts can also have the long hair, you know, which is not professional, can talk, dude, gnarly, and all that kind of stuff, but they can still be the CEO of a Fortune 500, like looking and sounding the exact way. But that's their slang, that's their vernacular. But white is right and Black isn't right. I was reading some on Twitter the other day. I'm trying to get very active on Twitter. Y'all come and follow me. I'm a different person on Twitter, so do not judge me. I'm totally like that. But my name is on Twitter is Lisa Bonet Walk, so that Jada Pickett could run. Follow me. Follow me. I'm just putting it out there. But I was reading something on Twitter that basically said, we see so many rich kids, we're talking about classes, rich kids who have all these advantages, all these hookups, all these, I don't want to lie. Let me get exactly how it was. Because I'm getting a little traction on Twitter, trying to see. Y'all follow me, okay? Try to be famous. Twitter famous. Do I? Oh, I got some more followers, I think.
Come on, work, follow me.
But it said, when rich kids have access to premium education but still grow up stupid. And Reagan Gomez, she's an actress, she retweeted and said, still become judges, studio CEOs, lawyers, the president. Because our president is literally the dumbest person I know in real life or otherwise. So we have to stop saying, oh, this person's ghetto. Because my experience is that in order to get out of jail quick, get your associate degree. When you go for that, not my experience, I'll be that Jesus, but it's bad that get some kind of secondary education or trade certification or something. A lot of people, when they get out of jail, they have at least an associate degree, sometimes a bachelor's degree. Most Black people that you come across got some kind of cert, trade. Their name got some initials behind it some kind of way. And I feel like I was talking to one of my Hispanic friends, and he was like, no, he woke, and he was like, I understand the education. Y'all don't have the access to the education, and because of education, I said, oh, that in some parts that's true. I said, but most Black people are way more educated than the average any other person. I was like, the thug on the street got a cert, a trade, or AA. I was like, that's what they don't tell you. And then I called every Black person. I said, yo, Is it? Am I lying on that? Don't most black people have some kind of degree of cert behind their name? It was like we have to. We have to be twice as good as we have.
I would say it's mandatory for us, basically.
We can't walk around with a high school diploma and get anything. Like we have to at least have some college, something behind our name to get us in the door. And so it's not about education. It's about racism and classism and elitism and professionalism. All these vernaculars being put in, all these restrictions being put in place, saying you can't work in corporate America looking like this. What's wrong with my hair? It's neatly pulled up in a bun. It grows out of my head. Like, what's wrong with this look? Why is this look not professional? But a white girl having a horse mane is. Not saying, but I'm just saying their hair is like a horse. I'm not saying that. Okay, forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm still growing. Y'all still check me. That was racist, Jona. I'm going to check myself bad, Jona. However, so.
Yeah, even my Bantu knots, I could literally go to a award show in a gown and wear Bantu knots. But in the professional world, it's not professional. It's urban. No, it's just black. It's Afrocentric. That's what it is.
And that's where classism and elitism comes in at. Why is being urban a bad thing?
Right.
Why does it being urban makes it unprofessional?
Right.
That's what I want to leave with you. We have to start. Why does when you see a darker girl, you like, if she ain't a 10, I'm not gonna even look at her. But a 4 light-skinned girl gets your attention. Why come you feel like if a person doesn't speak a certain type of way, but you know they're educated out there? Think about a young lady. I'm telling her name, Buffett. Shawan, went to I only got like 20-something members now. Can't say it when I get real big. But she was very educated, very smart. But people were all like, when she got married to her first husband, his mama was like, "Is this a joke?" Now, if you see Shawan, beautiful, gorgeous, nice figure, fine. But because she was ghetto, a lot of people, that's that classism. Her beauty did not override her ghetto-nism. And her, I just made that word up. Her being ghetto, or ghettoism. That's my new word. So that's why we have to like abolish all these systems that keep people, she was judged when she was trying to find love. People were in his ear constantly trying to talk against her. Yes, she had children. Every woman he dated literally had a child. It was never about any of that. It was about people thought she was ghetto, and his family was more well-to-do. So
I was young when they got married, but I'm so sad to hear that was.
I was behind the scenes, and I'm doing a whole. You know what? I'm going to say we're going to end it right here. How you guys said, Jona, but he know me. That's why I was so upset when she wanted to make me her like wedding coordinator, or no, I had to ask for that. She was like, because she was like, Ashley Jones, the first person out Twan's mouth was for a bridesmaid was you. But I told him I wanted you to just sit down in the audience and enjoy the wedding because you worked so hard to put us together. BS. You wanted me to sit in the audience because I was dark. I was not, well, she's dark. It wasn't about being dark, but because I was fat and tall. And I did not fit the schematics of your wedding party. Yeah, you put Marquette in the wedding party and you didn't have no wedding for a while because she slept with your man. But we not going to talk, but she beautiful though. She got that Coke bottle shape though. But we not going to talk about that. So that's why, like I said, Patreon, y'all getting it all. That's why I walked to the wedding like this. Hey, I'm just here to, I said, I'm just here to be messy. I'm just here to be messy. I'm just here to be messy. I greeted everybody, and I did not root for their relationship after the fact. Because my thing is, God, you can't mess with children of God. God, it may be slow sometimes to act, but that nigga ain't never sleep, and he ain't never dumb or deaf. He ain't slow to hearing. He ain't slow to moving. You think you get away with some stuff, but what don't come out in the wash will come out in the rinse. And yes, I did call Jesus nigga. Forgive me, Lord. I'm sorry about that. I was saying wrong. You my dog. You my dog. So,
You did. And I just went on with it. I was just listening.
That's my boy. Because God be having my back. Like literally, do you know how many businesses have went out of business? And I tell them, I was like, make sure you're in the right, because if you F with me, all is gonna get shut down. I have literally been in the Chili's one day. Somebody disrespected me. Came back later on that week. It was all shut down. Like, don't play with Jona Nanette hard. Don't do it, because me and God got this relationship. He know I'm crazy. I know he crazy. We get along fine. Just don't. But anyway.
Oh, and I do want to say though, also, speaking of, since you brought, church people in it, let's just go ahead and wrap it on into the. I'm ready. On in. But also with classism and elitism, it also reigns in our Black churches. And it also reigns in the whole idea of what Black spirituality is supposed to look like. And basically anything that is Afrocentric or, basically anything Afrocentric to our roots is looked at and demonized as, something evil or whatever. So basically we have internalized racism and classism so much to the point that anything Black looks demonic. And that is dangerous. It's dangerous to our psyches. It's dangerous to our neighbors. It's dangerous to our spirit. It's dangerous. So I just want to go ahead.
This is the second time I have brought this book up, so it might be the Lord saying it's time to release it. I want to address Rochelle's comment. She said too many unsung heroes and some exes are worth the headache. I know that's right, but you hit the nail right on the head when you were talking about classism and elitism and colorism in the Black church, because it is so prevalent. I used to make this joke. I can go into any club when I was younger. I mean, still not, because I'm still fine. But I can go into any club and pull anybody out that club, and when nobody bat it out, you're gonna have your haters, but that's anybody. If I go to a Black church and the pastor's son looking at my big Black chocolate self, it's gonna be. Now, if I just tell them who I am and what I do, and they see me on YouTube or they see me on the news, because I used to stay on the news. I was on the news, like, I started telling other people, like, I can't go to that. Y'all just go for me and tell them this what y'all say. Like, for real. And that's favor. I'm not bragging. That's just how my life was at some point. And my whole thing is, once they knew who I was, okay. But just seeing me, it was like, I don't get it. Not the same people will say I'm pretty, but pretty enough for the deacon's son, not the pastor.
Right. Say
not
that part.
The pastor, not especially not the pastor. And I wrote a whole book and play. I think you came to when the doors of the church are open.
Yeah, I was
at
one point.
That was about classism and sizeism and colorism. Kiara, she played the part. She was supposed to be darker skinned, but I could never find a darker skinned girl who could sing and act, and it was hard casting dark skinned girl in that role. And so we just concentrated on her size, because I feel like that's the part of intersectionality that we don't really talk about. Being a woman, being a Black woman, being a plus size Black woman, and being a dark skinned plus size Black woman. It's like so many X's. Intersectionality is literally an X.
Literally an X, yeah.
X people out.
Yeah.
Because I have 4 X's. Well, 3 if you're a man trying to date a woman. But if you bisexual, gay, got 4. But for men trying to date a woman, I have 3 X's against me. Because even Black men don't want Black women, or a lot of them don't. Then they don't want a dark skinned Black woman. And then they sure don't want a dark skinned plus size Black woman. And so I have found that when I'm dating, hold on to your to mess you up. The more attractive the guy is, the more likely he is to want to date me. I have found like average dudes, ugly dudes, other fat dudes, they wouldn't sit on me if I was on fire. But if I walk in the room, 9 times out of 10, the guy who's gonna give me the most attention and give me his number will be the finest one in the room. Don't know And I feel like it's because they feel like they can be with anybody. When they are attracted to you, like they don't care what people say. I think a lot of other men, they have insecurities. They try to date for prom. They try to date because no girls wanted them, and they want to prove that they can pull the baddest chick.
Right.
Who they really like, they gonna just settle for the person who looks good on their arm. But
Right.
fine dudes, we've been there, done that. I already had that. I'm trying to look for somebody who I love, like, and am compatible with, and vice versa. And I feel like I have a pressure to bag a fine chick the way that mediocre dudes are. And I also see that it's also maybe a cultural thing as well, because it's no coincidence that the women that black men discard, the big ones, the darker ones, the natural ones, are the ones white men flock to. And this is my example. I remember it was this rumor going around that my husband, Trevor Noah, was dating Lupita Nyong'o. And everybody was like, good for them, courageous. And I was like, I knew they didn't really mean it. I knew, and I just said what was in the room. I was like, it's so funny that we are congratulating Trevor for liking a darker woman or being with a woman who looks like Lupita. I said, but the richest white man in the world can marry her tomorrow, and we will not bat an eye. Because she's pretty enough, she's famous enough, she's articulate enough, she's smart enough, she's educated enough, she's classy enough, she's on that level enough to be with the richest man in the world. When it comes to us, this overrules everything.
Yeah.
And I just want to leave it like that. Think about, why does this overrule everything when it comes to us?
Mm-hmm.
I just want y'all to, and a hush fell over the room. And I think that because I think it's so important for us to realize that it's a construct made by people to divide us. You can have two light-skinned people have a dark-skinned child, or two dark-skinned people have a light-skinned child. This means nothing. The only thing that this determines is the way that people treat you. And that whole life is about, this should not determine anything but how much sunscreen you should use. That's the only thing that should determine. So, did you want to add anything or say anything?
Just that. Well, not really. I was gonna also add, what I'm saying, like, having kids out of wedlock. That's an ex of mine. What I'm saying, where my people may look at me, differently, dark skin, unwed mother. So yeah, I have strikes against me. And that may put people, if they see me out and about, they may be like, oh, that poor lowly soul, not knowing that, I have my own business, this, that, and the other. And then also, even with having my own business, I will definitely say a part of my ambition at first was to not be a statistic, not to be not to give any people a reason to look at me funny because I was a single mom. You know what I mean? So that I can have something behind me, so that I can say, hey, yeah, I may be a single mom, but boom, I got this right here. So I got credentials. You know what I'm saying? But I don't feel that way anymore. Like, I don't.
No matter what you do,
I don't care.
It's not gonna be good enough. Like,
I don't care about that anymore. I do. Yeah.
You shouldn't have to say, this is me, to be accepted.
Exactly. Like, I shouldn't do that at all.
And I'm tired. That's why I've been wearing my arms out, my shoulders out. Like, think about it. You ain't never seen my shoulders before this song. Think about it. If you can show me one picture with my shoulders been out, I don't feel them out. It is what it is. Well, I'm fat. Your mama fat too. How about that? How about we all fat? And your dad in my inbox. How about that? Your dad in my inbox. Your dad in my inbox.
But you know.
Thank you, boo. Thank you. And so are you.
But
I finally got to a point, especially being having my second child, him.
Hey,
I got to a point where I was just like, I shouldn't have to feel like I have to reach a certain plateau to check a box in the respectability politics to people to get off my back or to look at me, in a better light. And yeah, have me looking like a better person because I have all these things, these accolades, I'm adorned with. Like I shouldn't have to even worry about that. So now I just really just focus on just being a mom, you know what I'm saying, and just doing what I'm supposed to be here to do, which is say something. Also, speaking of saying something, I used to also cringe when I did have something to say, because that's another thing as far as having can you still see me? Okay. Still having something to say is, you definitely don't want a loud, outspoken, dark-skinned Black chick on your arm. You know what I mean? Like that. I used to cringe. It used to be something in the back of my mind. Before I post something that said, oh, somebody may be looking at you. They may, not like you after this. Now I'm just like, if they don't like me after me speaking on something important, they wasn't for me in the first place. Like I don't care too much about trying to look like or be presentable to be the wifey material that people think that, Black women or even dark-skinned Black women should be, to be considered wifey material, like whatever. So like I was really in like a whatever type of thing.
This Rona really has really did a lot for me. It has really freed me because I'm like, people don't think, it's in my edges. I think it's some oil. I'm sorry, but people think what they want to think, and you can't control it. Like my mom used to always tell me, "Jona, you laugh so loud. You so loud. You so loud." But I noticed that when I was with my light skinned friends, baby, you could hear them a mile away, and they were still considered delicate, feminine, womanly, soft, wifey. So it really had nothing to do with them being loud. It was like you just said, a dark skinned girl who looks like you has to be like in this box of all. The last relationship. Well, I don't even know what it was I was in, and I don't believe when he sent it to my inbox he had any problems with me being dark skinned and chocolate, or fat. But what he did have a problem with was I had my own mind, and I called a cat and said that BS was cow and not chicken. So he wasn't used to that. I think in any person, but let alone like I could see my value was like, well, I can't be with her. Like she questions me, she calls me out, she has her own mind, she has her own relationship with God. Even like I'm not her all in all. Like sometimes a lot of men come to us thinking that we go like, oh,
right. Like, oh my God, you're looking my way. I should be so grateful. Like, no, bro. You just another dude too. Like,
let's just call it thing. Look at me, Naomi. You grew up with me. You saw the dudes I used to hang out with.
Yeah.
You know the level of dudes I pull.
Yes.
You hang out in shoes. Like he really could like you short, like you skinny, like the dudes I mess with, I have messed with my first love. You talk about the trouble. Because your daddy's a who? Is what? Okay, before you go there, because I shouldn't feel. But my brother texted me like, I'm rude to 6 o'clock. That's his way of saying for want me to come out and entertain him because I'm his pet. I'm his favorite pet.
Man.
I'm his toy, his favorite toy. So thank you so much for being on this day. I mean, we are going to have you back. Tell my boo I said what's up. And tell your mama say hey too. See, that's the kind of truck I am. That's the kind we just talked about this. Y'all. Thank you, Rochelle. Rochelle said, "Sons out, guns out. I don't care what my guns look like. I know that's real." And then she said, "Preach." I just feel like it's time to overcome some things, and we have to start calling it BS. It's not cat, it's not chicken, it's not dog, it's not pork, it's bull. It's some bull. We can no longer exclude people because they don't fit in our box of what is acceptable or socially acceptable. Get to know people for themselves and let their character and the content of what's inside them dictate how far they go, not their looks. Unless they're a model, that's different. But in any other profession, and then we got to talk about some stuff there too.
Even in modeling, still, that's still a lot of that still needs to
change. You should not have to be a size 0 or -3 to be on a catwalk when don't nobody decide to look like them. And they say, well, the clothes, it's like a hanger. The clothes fit better. No, them lies, because I was on this guy, like I'm in love with him, and I was on his baby mama page, and like she is stacked, baby. She is stacked. And you can't tell me she looked in model on any runway a little better than her in clothes. So stop. No. Stop. Lies, and the devil is your daddy. So I don't really know what you're saying, because we need bigger women on the catwalk as well. And I really want you back. I might do this on another platform so more people can see it. Because this is just Patreon members. The dark-skinned girl community trying to exile fat dark-skinned girls, or trying to marginalize fat dark-skinned girls or put them in a box, or not accepting them. And my whole problem with that is, you're too sick about fat dark-skinned girl. Like, why? How are you telling me that only darker women that are small are acceptable? That's literally telling them, but if they get fat, they're not. So why would I want to marry you if the moment you get fat, you're no longer valuable or good? You know, that means people get pregnant, people get diseases. It happens, Rona. If as soon as you gain some weight, you're no longer desirable, or I should no longer want to be with you. That's a thing. That's a bet. That's like a tricky situation. Like, why would I want to invest in something that's gonna lose value as soon as it gains weight? So
why would I marry somebody who puts that type of pressure on me? Like, that's crazy.
It's crazy, but I love everybody. Feel free, if you can't comment on here, feel free to comment on the actual Patreon post. But I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. And you have a safe rest of your trip, Naomi. Oh, you did so good. Hey, he looks just like my other boo. Tell him I said hello too. I said, I keep sitting in the family. How about that? I keep sitting in the family. I'll continue to tell him something. That's why I say, is he still there? You have to have my fan, because see, I'm still loyal. But if it wasn't for fan, you would be sending him some very inappropriate messages. I'm just putting it out there. Love y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Bye. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much. Yes, we will. What's the basket? Oh, I will. Love you, girl. Bye.